Uh, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we are going to give you the full card breakdown for UFC 312, featuring the middleweight title rematch between Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland, and then you got the women's title, Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. Here we go, full card breakdown. First fight of the night, we got Young Sung Park 9-0 versus Tumendemberel 8-1. No reason to be betting on this fight, to be honest. Young Sung Park's going to want to try to clinch and grapple and kind of grind his way to victory, and he is the slight favorite to do that. And Tumendemberel is going to want to try and bite down on that mouthpiece and take his head off. No reason to bet on this fight. Either guy can win. It's funner to root for the striker than to root for a fucking grind. So I'd like to see the dog pull it off, but there's just no way I'd be betting on this fight. What do you think?
I think Park's gonna try to push the wrestling and the grappling, and I think that I can't even say this guy's too many.
I know.
That's whatever. He has power in his hands. He does, but he doesn't push a hard pace, and it's like he has to catch. He's got the puncher's chance versus the guy that's gonna probably be busier. Like you said, I don't see why you should bet on this fight. I'm gonna go with the grappler because most of the time the grappler wins in these situations, especially when the harder puncher, the guy that has the knockout power, doesn't throw the volume along with the knockout power. He's always looking for one big shot. If he threw everything in combination, uh, I might be leaning towards him in this case because the odds suck, and this fight is way closer than probably the odds suggest. I think it's like minus 200, minus 300, somewhere in that range. I don't have it in front of me, but the last time I
Minus
looked,
225.
yeah, man, no, it's closer. It's way closer fight. But both these guys low volume, so yeah, skip it if you're. But I'm picking the grappler Park.
All right. Next fight of the night, we got Keelan Salkilld, 7-1. He's coming in at the biggest favorite of the card, minus 550, taking on Anshul Jubli, 7-1. And he is obviously the massive underdog at plus 400. Both these guys are like specialists at nothing, I would say. They're both fairly well rounded, except Jubilee is coming off a terrible performance where didn't really look like he's the most durable fighter. And I think everybody is questioning his chin and questioning whether this Indian guy can hang in the UFC, quite frankly. And I mean, I kind of feel the same, unfortunately. I mean, I got a lot of Indian friends here, but I just don't think he's winning this one, buddy. What do you
I
think?
don't think so either. I like his volume, but Skidlad or whatever his name is just as good volume, maybe a little bit less. But I think the tipping scale really is the ground game, right? So in that what was that? I think it was a contender series fight. He took the guy down nine times, right? Uh, which you can look at it two ways. One, he doesn't have a lot of control, but his wrestling is good, right? You know what I mean? And Jubilee, I mean, if you want to strike with him, he can go strike for strike, but obviously the power isn't there because I think it was Mike Breeden that fucking put him to sleep the last time, right? So, and you got to remember in his road to the UFC fight, he got a split decision where he got outstruck and taken down four times as well. So, I think the tipping scale here for Skidlad or whatever his dang name is, all these names are so crazy. Um, I think it's the wrestling. I think it's the wrestling. I think he'll be able to take down Jubilee when he wants to and strike through with him. And when you can control a fight, you win a fight. So
All right. Next fight of the night, we got Kevin Jousset, 10-3, coming in at minus 250, and he's taking on Jonathan Micallef, 7-1. He's coming back at plus 200. This is basically striker versus grappler. I mean, Jonathan's not a bad fighter. He's not like he can't strike. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But his path to victory would be getting this fight to the ground or clinching, grinding. Like, I don't think he's going to win a kickboxing match against Kevin Jousset. Kevin Jousset obviously coming off the loss to Brian Battle, but my God, did he show a chin on there? Like even in that stoppage loss, he was still standing. Like that guy was taking some shots, and you know what? We've never really seen him show bad takedown defense, so I have no reason to believe that he's gonna get taken down and wrestle fucked here. So I think Kevin Jousset keeps the fight standing, pushes the pace, pushes the volume, marches forward, and just outstrikes him. He's just gonna be the cleaner, better striker. And Jonathan's not a bad fighter, but I'm going Kevin Jousset. What do you think?
yeah, Jonathan's not a bad fighter. I think the striking edge does go to Jousset. I think the experience edge goes to Jousset. He's got the better technical striking. Now, I think Micallef has a pretty good ground game. Don't get me wrong, I've seen some good tape on that ground game. But Jousset does sport that 100 takedown defense here in the UFC. And he rarely got taken down in any of the regional tape. You don't really want to go back too much because Kevin Jousset's actually leveled up as a fighter. He was just a step behind Brian Bell, and Brian Bell's a guy on the way up, right? So basically, that fight was to see who's really on their way up, right? So you got to remember this coming. He came off a win against Song Kanan. Kanan was a very experienced UFC fighter, and he made him look. I thought he looked really good and dominated that fight in the striking realm. So I like Jousset. I think the experience is going to show through. I think Mikhailov might be something later on in his UFC career, but as of now, this is I think I wouldn't say a layup for Jousset. I think they just gave him an easier fight after battle, and I think he has the edge in the striking. And once he doesn't get taken down and blanketed or subbed, I think he can win this fight pretty easily, actually.
Yep. Next fight of the night, we got Cody Steele 7-0 coming in at. Sorry, let me take a look here quickly. Shit. My bad. Minus 200, and he's taking on Rongzhu minus 170. 7-0 versus 25-6. This is actually a really fun fight. Both guys are finishers. Rongzhu can play spoiler for the simple fact he is dangerous. Like when he wins, he does get a ton of finishes. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to catch Steele. I don't think that's going to happen. But whenever you have an underdog that does have finishing ability, he definitely can play spoiler. I'll say he's not as consistent as his problem. Like he has some great wins. He has some big names on his resume. He's pulled off some big wins, and I mean Cody Steele doesn't have those quality wins that Rongzhu has, but he's way more consistent. So I'm going to go with the consistent fighter, Cody Steele, to get this done, and probably by finish, just because even Rongzhu, when he loses, he's susceptible to getting in a firefight, and things can get a little crazy. But I think it's going to be a fun fight. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a fun fight. Rongzhu definitely has the experience here. He's got tons of fights on his resume. Cody Steele in regional tape looks very, very good with the striking. But Rongzhu is kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Unorthodox. Comes at you. He's like very pressing on the action. He does have power in his hands. Um, I'd like to say that he's probably got the better wrestling slash grappling in this match if he kind of wants to employ some of that. I just I don't know what kind of IQ we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy on his debut, and you're talking about Rongzhu, who's been wrong a lot of times. You know what I mean? I actually took Padilla against him in his last fight, just based on like Padilla taking advantage of certain situations, right? And that Rongzhu does put himself into those certain spots where he can get finished, right? So this is a tight match. I don't like the odds on it, man. Like I think it's a little bit too wide for especially for like a fireworks sort of fight. I think those odds are wide, but like I just can't get behind the wrong Jew side on the underdog, unfortunately. And maybe I will flip later on in the week, but this one's the one I'm like least confident about. I'm gonna go with Cody Steele for now, but I ain't gonna fault anybody that wants to take wrong Jew in this spot.
All right, next fight of the night, we got Mini Topuria making his debut, 5-1, coming in at minus 350, minus 450, which is kind of crazy, versus Colby Thicknesse, 7-0, plus 350. Honestly, like I'm sure the UFC does want Topuria to win. I'm sure they're trying to give him a matchup that, like, I'm sure they're not wanting to piss off their champion and have his brother lose, but at the same time, he's really not that great. He might be the better wrestler here, but he's not really the better submission grappler. There's no reason. There's Colby Thicknesse is undefeated. He can tap people. The odds just don't make sense to me. To me, it's actually dog or pass. And it's not because I think that Topuria is garbage and he'll be exposed or anything like that. But at the end of the day, he's unproven, and the skill sets say that he might be the better wrestler, but he might not necessarily be the better grappler. And if he can't like runs right into a choke or anything like that, I don't know. Until he's proven, I'm not betting on him at minus 450 is all I'm saying. What do you think?
I think he wins. I think he's slightly the better, well-rounded fighter in here. I think Thicknesse is taking this fight on a short notice. I think it's like a week or two's notice. So I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in now. I'm feeling like Topuria can push the pace on him like Ilya does. I'm feeling like he trains with his brother. I feel like their fight styles are similar yet different. He's the older brother. He's the I would say like the bigger brother in the sense of like body stature and whatnot, right? But I think he can employ a ground game, suck the energy out of Thicknesse. I don't think a full camp. I don't know what his cardio is like. Um, I'm I think I think ground game is better. I think the striking is pretty much even. I didn't see anything from both sides that really warranted someone being like a super good technical striker. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Topuria based on a full camp, and I think he's gonna take him down and just ride it out.
All right. Next fight of the night, we've got interesting striker Kong Wang, 6-1, coming off that loss to Gabrielle Fernandez, which was a huge upset. And she's
Hmm.
taking on Bruna Brasil, 10-4-1, who's coming off a huge upset win where she beat the brakes off Molly McCann. Um, these odds don't make any sense at all. I know Kong Wing on paper is coming in with that huge striking background, very feared striker. But again, she looked terrible last fight. She lost last fight. Bruna Brazil looked awesome last fight. So how the hell is Kong Wing a minus 450? Yes, I think she should be the better striker. She should piece up Bruna Brazil. We've seen Brazil drop before. I mean, that's what Kong Wing should do. But again, it's MMA. Sometimes you have to go off their most recent performances, and off those performances, it should not be a minus 450 fight. I just can't play it. I don't think Bruno Brazil is going to play a huge spoiler again and shock the world twice in a row, but there's no way I'm playing Kong Wing at minus 450. What do you think?
I'm not going to play her at minus 450, but I think she wins this fight. I think she's the better striker, the better technical kickboxer. Bruna Bazil's a little labored in her shots. I don't think she throws enough volume for my liking. She's a little bit dog in there, I'll give her that. I don't think she can employ that ground game that she's been able to take girls down in the last couple times. I think Conor Wang is too strong on the hips. She's shown that she doesn't like to get taken down, doesn't get taken down. She got caught last time. Do you think Bruna Brazil is going to catch her? Does lightning strike twice? Um, I don't know, man. It's not that she looked bad in that last fight. Did she really take that girl serious enough? Maybe that was the wake-up call. Maybe that was the fight that you're like, holy shit, these girls are actually going to actually have to train. Because some people, if they're not losing for their entire career, that's how it goes down, right? They're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? But
It was karma for her face-off antics.
yeah, that whole Joker thing, right? Like, I guess it was karma. And I don't know how much you want to read into it. I do think she's going to come in more serious this fight. I do think she's the better girl on the feet. And I don't think Bruna Brazil can get her down. So I'm going to go with the better kickboxer when it's going to be a kickboxing match.
All right. Moving on to the lightweight division, we've got Tom Nolan, 8-1, coming in at plus 110, so very close to a pick'em fight versus Slavaklaus Borshchev striker. This is a striker versus striker. This should be a fun fight. I mean, everything in me says that Slavaklaus should smoke this guy, but Slavaklaus is coming off getting outstruck by fucking Chase Hooper, so that just doesn't sit right with me. Now, I know Chase Hooper is definitely improving because my God, have I blasted him enough on this channel before? But Hooper has gotten better. He has. So I'll give him his credit there. He's gotten much better, but it's still not a good look for me. Slava Claus, very inconsistent, I'm going to say. Like, I still think at his best, he should smoke Tom Knowlton, but I'm scared that he's going to get blasted with the right hand here. I don't know. Slava Claus, the better striker. It should stay on the feet. This should be a striking match. This should be Slava Claus's fight to lose. Um, I'm gonna pick Slava Claus. I don't know if I'm gonna bet on him, but my pick is Slava to be the more technical striker. What do you think?
I went into tape study trying to find any way to fade Slavoklas in this spot. Um, I couldn't find it. I think this is going to be a striking match. If Tom Nolan was smart with his camp, he trained some wrestling because he'll obviously win that fight if he wants to take it down. But Slavoklas is the better technical striker. He is the more volume to his strikes. I think though, as he's getting older, one couple things, man, the durability looks like it's kind of going, and two, like he's getting a little slower, man. And so those are two things that kind of worry me in this. Like Tom Nolan won't throw as much volume, but he'll be throwing much harder. And my issue is that Slava's in the last couple fights, even that Lawn Top fight when he won, it was pretty damn fucking close, right? And Lawn Top was still like and Long Top's not a great striker, but he was hitting them with some shots, man. So, and Chase looked like he put on a striking fucking clinic against him on the feet, man. He was hitting them with some really good shots. So now my problem is not that like Slava's gonna hit. It's gonna be like 30 to 12 in strikes, but like those 12 might be more telling than those 30, right? So I'm scared in this fight to bet Slava Claus. I think he's the better striker, but man, I can see him getting knocked the fuck out too. So.
That's what I'm saying, man. And we've seen it. Once that chin goes,
I
man.
mean, the durability hasn't looked good. I mean, obviously against Long Top, but like Long Top was not throwing with the same conviction. I hate to say as Chase Hooper, but Chase's punches were straighter. They were more accurate. Like I rewatched the fight. He was on point in that fight. I'll give him credit too. And yeah, man, I just don't know. The durability is gone because Tom Nolan will hit him hard. If Tom Nolan hits him hard, I feel like he can put him away because Tom Nolan will swarm, right? Because we've seen it on many occasions. So tough fight, man. I'm gonna pick Slavokov because he's a better striker, but like buyer beware.
All right. Next fight of the night, 145-pound division. We got Jack Jenkins, 13-3, coming in at plus 200 versus Gabriel Santos, minus 250, 11-2. I find these odds a little bit wide. I mean, Gabriel Santos is best known for his losses. He came in and put on a hell of a performance against Lerone Murphy, where a lot of people thought he won that fight. I mean, that's a very tough UFC debut, and he looked fantastic. He had good guard, good strike. Everything looked good. Everything looked good. Very, very close fight, but he lost. Then he went in and fought
David Onama.
David Onama. Oh, yeah, David Onama. And again, great fight, back and forth, and then he lost. So, I mean, I find it hard that he's such a big favorite here. Like, I don't like Jack Jenkins at all. By no means do I like Jack Jenkins, but judges seem to kind of like Jack Jenkins. I mean, he wins on leg kicks and scoring a takedown here and there. And I mean, Gabriel Santos, I think, is the much more dangerous ground fighter and the much more dangerous striker for that matter. But he is susceptible to getting taken down. Like, there's a world where Jack Jenkins can just kind of wrestle him to the ground. He's going to have to be careful in the guard, but there's a world where he could be the one on top and win some rounds. He's not going to finish Gabriel. There's no way he finishes him. If there's a finish, it's Santos finishing Jenkins, but there's a world Jenkins can win points here and win minutes. And I just don't think the odds should be this wide for a guy coming off losses. I mean, I do think Santos is the better fighter. I think he's a more dangerous fighter. I'm going to pick him, but I'm going to pick him and be a little bit worried that he's going to start hot because that's how he comes out, kind of guns blazing. And then is he going to fucking fade and then lose a decision or something like that? That's a little bit of a worry. I think if you're on Jack Jenkins by decision for extra points, because he ain't going to finish him. But I'm still going to pick Santos, but I don't like the odds. What do you think?
I don't like the odds, but I think Santos wins this fight. I think he's taken down every single person that he's ever fought in the UFC multiple times. Even that Onama fight, he won that first round against David Onama pretty handily, actually. And then he sort of faded. That's the only issue I have with him. Um, I think he's going to take Jack Jenkins down. I don't think Jack Jenkins can get him down. I think Jack Jenkins is going to have to win a dirty fucking pitter-patter striking battle. Lerone Murphy got taken out 5 times by fucking Santos. Lerone Murphy's also the only other guy to take down Santos at the same time, right? That fight was razor thin. It was, I don't know. It can go either way. It's not a bad decision. It wasn't a great decision, but it wasn't a bad decision. Um, that fight against Yazzie, he looked really good actually. His striking looked up to par, and the ground game looked up to par. So I don't know, man. Jack Jenkins gets me like that last fight against Herbert Burns, him giving up the 2 takedowns to who I think is one of the worst fighters to ever come out into the UFC, Herbert Burns. That was a that's a bad look. Even though he finished him, that's still a bad look in my eyes. Because if Herbert Burns is taking you down, I don't think Gabriel Santos has a problem taking you down too. So and he's taking everybody down in every single fight. So I'm going with Santos. I think he's the more well-rounded guy. Yeah, Jack Jenkins is loved. The Jamal Amers fight is probably the worst decision I've seen in my fucking life. But yeah,
Yep.
I still go Santos.
All right, guys, moving on to the main card. If you haven't already, please like, please subscribe. We do appreciate it. First fight of the main card, strange main card we have here. We got Jake Matthews, 20-7 versus Francisco Prado, 12-2. Matthews coming at the minus 225 favorite, which is a little bit wild. Prado coming back at plus 187. Two guys that I really don't like, to be honest. I try to look to find a way to fade Matthews whenever I can, especially if he's facing someone who can strike, someone who has power. I mean, Prado kind of fits that bill, but then fucking Prado lost to Jamie Malarkey, and I bet everybody against Jamie Malarkey. So it's like, fuck, man. How do you lose to Jamie Malarkey? Like, I don't know, man. And also, I just think Prado might be a little bit undersized here, moving up from lightweight to welterweight. Don't know what he's going to look like. I don't know. Is Jake Matthews just going to grapple fuck him? I'm not sure. Two guys I just don't like. Don't like the odds. Don't like the fight period. I don't know. What do you think?
I think I think you say hit the nail on the head. I think him moving up, he's gonna be a tiny little bit smaller than him, and I think Jake Matthews, sorry, grapple fucks him. Striking looked okay from Jake Matthews. Yeah, it's like what version of Jake Matthews shows up, right? Like he's been in the UFC since he was like goddamn 20 years old, and he's never really got over that hump. He's like the gatekeeper of youngest gatekeepers I've ever seen in my goddamn entire life. But anyways. I think he's better here. I think he's a better ground game. I think he's just going to use his size. I think he's going to bully him. And I think he actually probably finishes him on the ground. And Jake Matt, it's hard for me to say, but I don't know, man. I think it's going to be spent a lot of time on the ground here. I don't think he wants to strike with Prado because Prado's a little bit wild on the striking side, and he could catch Matthews, and Matthews has been caught before. Um, so I think he takes him down. I think he rides him out. I think he subs him. So Jake Matthews by submission, round two. That's my pick.
All right. Next fight of the night, 205 division. We got Jimmy Crute, 12-4-1, coming in at plus 130 versus Rodolfo Bellato, 12-2, coming back at minus 160. Jimmy Crute, not active. Been on a losing streak, been finished. You could definitely question his durability. You could definitely question his confidence. I mean, I don't like Jimmy Crute in this spot. I'm on not that I think Bellato is like incredible by any means, but I think he's gonna hit hard enough that he can knock Jimmy Crute out. I don't know. Like, what is Jimmy Crute really that good at? Maybe jujitsu, but like, I don't know. I don't see it. I am taking Bellato to probably retire or knock out Jimmy Crute. What do you think?
I had Bellato on a bet. I kind of cashed it out. Uh, I'm flip-flopping. I think Crute has the talent to beat Bellato in this spot. I just don't know if he has the heart to beat Bellato in this spot. Um, the striking's nothing to write home about. Bellato, honestly, they're both grapplers, and Crute's got good wrestling, but he can't hold anybody in the ground. He tires out like a little bitch all the time. Him and Manofield were just flopping on each other in that second fight. It's really hard to read into this. Bellato, though, the only difference here is, but now Bellato did that same bullshit where he lost the first round against Ihor Potieria, who was God forsaken to some of the worst competition you can have in this UFC. But he came back strong. But the problem is that he lost the first round to Ihor Potieria. It's hard to say that it's for anybody, right? So
Right, I honestly think Poterio would knock out Jimmy Crute.
this is it's a weird fight because Bellato's not as good as the odds say, and Jimmy Crute isn't bad as the odds say, but Jimmy Crute has so many red flags around him. Bellato's got I feel like that was why I cashed out the bet. Like I was just like, there's too much red flags on both sides. I'm not quite sold on the Jimmy Crute comeback. I'm gonna go with Bellato, but I will not be surprised if Jimmy Crute takes him down and taps him out. I won't be surprised. I was strong on Bellato at the beginning of the since the last card, but since then I've watched a bunch of tape and stuff, and there's so many red flags on both sides. It's not a good fight to bet on. I'm taking Bellato, but I wouldn't bet on this fight.
All right, featured fight of the night. As weird as it sounds, we've got Taliesin Teixeira, 7-0, seven finishes. Obviously, heavyweight fight, so that's always fun to see. Justin Tafa, 7-4, sloppy brawler. I mean, you're looking at two guys who obviously hit hard as hell. I think the general consensus is going to be that someone's going to get knocked out fast, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Justin Tafa's got a friggin' cement head for the most part. I mean, at some point he's going to go down. Like Teixeira will at some point or should take over and drop him and finish the fight. But I'm not so sure it's going to be the first round like all of his fights. The guy's 7-0, I think, with 7 first round finishes. Not 100% sure that happens here. Obviously, he's got way more potential. He's got way more upside than Justin Tafa. And there's some fights where striking looks good, and there's some fights where he gets hit quite a bit and doesn't look the greatest in close. And I mean, he's going to get in close. Well, I mean, at some point, if Justin Tafa, you're striking him, I mean, it's not like he's a long guy. So you're going to have to get in that pocket eventually and trade with him. But barring Justin Tafa landing a Hailmaker, that's the only way Tafa really wins this fight. I mean, and of course, he has a chance. It's a heavyweight slobber knocker. He has a chance, but I'm going to take the guy who has a much higher ceiling, much higher potential, the guy who I'm going to hope is constantly improving. I'm going to take Teixiera to get it done. And I think he continues the finishes. I'm just not so sure you might get like some plus money if it goes and hits the second round. I think it might hit the second round here. What do you think?
I think it might hit the second round. Now, my issue is I think to share it here too. There's a little bit of reservation. I had this guy in another parlay, and I cashed that one out too. It's just I looked at it. It was just like debutante lead head on Justin Tafa. Who knows how? I want to know what Teixeira's path to victory is. So I seen him wrestle a bit on the regional scene, not too much. Um, honestly, I would like Tafa in this spot a little bit more if he threw volume, but he is always looking for like one hitter quitter fucking finishes. He doesn't set anything up, like we said before. Like a lot of these guys are just throwing this one punch and trying to. So, yeah, I've seen Teixeira get hit before, and he's taken them. And I know Tafa has good power for the heavyweight division, but it's not ungodly power for the heavyweight division. It's good power. Now, I've seen the other guy get hit and take the punch, and that's only going to happen like 4 times, right? So, I mean, obviously the volume is going to come from the one way, and as long as Teixeira doesn't get knocked out with the 10 to 20 punches that I think Justin Tafa can throw over the 2 rounds that I think this thing goes, then he should be able to own him on the feet, volume wise. And now the problem is, I don't know. I think you're gonna have to work Tafa to the body. I think you're gonna have to work Tafa to the body. I think his head is made of fucking metal, and yeah, the finish I don't know, man. I just can't. It's tough to see someone. All those fights that Tafa lost are these damn grind out decisions. Vandera, fucking Carl Williams. Those are the guys he's losing to. But then the guys he's knocking out aren't anything special either, right? So that's the reason I took away the bet on this because I don't know what Teixeira is. Skill wise, he looks like the better fighter overall, but I can't be sure. The odds are good though. I might take a Hail Mary on him with a fucking one of those Hail Mary $10 parlays. But other than that, no serious money. I took it away. I liked him, and then I was like, oh, but how do I know that all this is gonna come through in the UFC, right? Because we really haven't seen it yet, right?
All right. Co-main of the night, we got Weili Zhang, the 115 women's champion, 25-3 in a dead pick'em fight against Tatiana Suarez, 10-0. Interesting fight. I like both girls. I see no reason to hate on either of them. I think I would prefer to see Zhang win because she's way more active. Suarez, even on her comeback, even after this long layoff and coming back, I'm ready to go again. Still so inactive, pulled out of another fight. I don't know. I don't like the inactiveness. That being said, I think Suarez wins this fight. I think Zhang has been getting stung. I think her durability isn't quite what it used to be. Obviously, Chonan Yang stung her. Rose has knocked her out. I mean, I don't think she has to worry about that as much here because Tatiana Suarez is not some sniper of a striker by any means. But I think Zhang is at her best when she grapples, and I don't think she's going to be able to out grapple Tatiana Suarez. Um, so I'm going to take Suarez to get it done. I mean, I'm not confident at all because, again, Suarez, no activity. We don't know what her gas tank's going to look like. I don't remember ever seeing her go 5 rounds. I feel like she generally takes you down and chokes you out or something. So, again, if it goes late, I don't know what we're going to get. But I just don't think Zhang's going to be able to use her grappling here. And so I think Suarez has been able to get everybody down. I think she'll be able to get Zhang down. And I'm going to pick Suarez I like them both. I'd prefer to see Zhang win, but I think I'm going to take Suarez here. What do you think?
I had sworn. I think I flipped on this fight after watching a few things. Um, Zhang, yes, Suarez might get her down, and I don't know if it's about early though. That's the thing, right? If you don't get Zhang down early in this fight, Suarez is going to take a beating in the first two rounds. But as we have seen in all Wiley Zhang fights, she kind of slows down as the fight progresses, right? But we don't obviously know what Suarez looks like after round three as well. Is Suarez going to survive to round three if this fight stays upright for two rounds, right? Is she gonna? I don't know. I honestly don't think she's ever fought a striker of Weili Zhang's capacity ever in her career either. Not with this kind of power, not with this kind of like championship mentality behind her. So I think this fight finishes. I think this fight finishes within three rounds, and I think Weili Zhang knocks out Tatiana Suarez. I think she keeps it on the feet.
That's
I think
that
she
would make
keeps
me
it on the
really
feet.
happy.
I think she keeps it on the feet, man, for at least the first two rounds. And Suarez, I love her, but the striking it leaves a lot to the imagination. So I'm calling knockout. This is my time. You said like you do this. I say knockout. Weili Zhang within the first three rounds. That's me. That's what I think.
I hope you're right. I'd love to see it. I just think something's happened and Zhang's durability is not the same anymore. But
Yeah,
hey,
but the durability
I hope.
when the durability comes into play, not so much on the feet because I can't see Suarez knocking around on the feet. Yeah, she can get caught by a kick by Rose and shit, but what Suarez gonna really hit her with? That's what I was looking at, right? Suarez needs to get her down, maul her, and get her back, right? Easier said than done. In the beginning, at the end of the fight, I think if this goes over three rounds, it definitely Suarez could take over if she has the gas tank.
All right, and main event of the night, we have got a rematch. Dricus du Plessis, 22-2, coming in as the minus 200 favorite versus Sean Strickland, 29-6. I'm probably one of the few people who actually like both guys. I think they're both kind of cringy and funny in their own way. I know Dricus has a lot of haters because, I mean, he comes off kind of preppy and weird or whatever, but I find him funny in his own right. I find Sean Strickland sometimes maybe tries a little bit hard, but I still like the guy. Whatever. I like them both. Truth be told, I like them both. Um, I think that Dracus has shown that he's effective. He obviously is very awkward, but I think he also showed in their first fight that he can't really strike with Sean Strickland. I think Sean Strickland is the better striker here by enough. But I think Dreykus didn't shoot as much as he should have in the first fight because I think watching back that he scored those like when he shot, he got the takedowns pretty damn easy. I was actually kind of concerned with how easy Sean Strickland was to take down. I figured, he's American. The guy is a workhorse. He's always training. He's always in the gym. I would have expected him to have better takedown defense, but he was taken down very, very easy. So I think Dreykus is going to shoot sooner this time, and that's his path here. So I'm definitely concerned with Sean Strickland getting taken down early and easily. And if he does get taken down early and easily, I think Dreykus is going to make it look much easier this fight. And if Sean Strickland finally shows me some damn takedown defense, and I think Sean Strickland smokes him. So as indecisive as I just made it that sound, I think whoever wins this fight is going to do it like by a lot. Like one person is going to look good and one person is going to look bad. And it could be either guy. If Sean can keep it standing, I think he's going to smoke him. If he can't keep it standing, I think he's going to get smoked. So I think we're going to see a finish. I know Sean Strickland fights are notorious for decisions, like notorious decision fighter, one of the most boring kind of point fighters ever, to be honest. But I just think that somebody is going to make it their fight. And I'm kind of rooting for Sean, maybe. I like them both. I like them both. I like them both. What do you think?
I'm picking Sean here. I think Sean wins this fight, but I think it's a decision, to be quite honest with you. I look back at the other fight. There's a couple of decisive rounds. So the decisive rounds, two of them were for Sean for sure. There's two decisive rounds I saw for Sean for sure. First, he finished well and he started well. There was a decisive round there in the middle. I think it was three or four, where Drickus really had good control over Sean. I think it might have been four. And then there's a couple of rounds that are up in the air, right? So my issue is that Dreykus can't strike with Sean. Sean overall has a 77% takedown defense. Before that fight, no one had really taken Sean down multiple times in fights. He had lost to what? Alex Pereira getting knocked out. And yeah, so like other than that, I don't know. If this fight, like you said, if he shores up that takedown defense just that little much, just a little bit more, aside from round 3 or 4, whatever one that was where Dreykus actually was able to control him, those other takedowns were just useless. They didn't really work. And nowadays, ever since that fight happened, I've seen a turn in the UFC where like ineffective takedowns and no ground control don't mean shit anymore, right? So I don't know if all four of the four takedowns he got in the first fight, if they're going to score as big as they would score nowadays, right? So I've seen a shift in the judging, right? And I don't think Dreykus is way too wacky on the feet. He does wing punches. It's kind of fucking funny. It's funny, even more funnier that Dreykus can laugh at himself in interviews about how funny that his striking does look. And as tired as he looks, he has good durability. I don't think Sean can finish the sandwich, so we are probably seeing a Sean Strickland decision. So I got Sean on a ticket. I did a Sean with a Whaley, and I got pretty damn good odds. I got maybe 6-1 on that. So that is one I played. I like that one. And I can even put the same bet in for Sean and Tatiana because I really think Sean wins this fight. So then I can just cover both sides on the bet right before. So I'm thinking about hedging. I don't know for sure, but yeah, I like Sean and I like him a lot in this fight. I think he's getting a little bit disrespected because of the first fight. And this is one of the few fights in the world that we actually have like legitimate recent footage of the two guys fighting each other.
I rewatched it. I found it so weird when he gets taken down. Like he's so like nonchalant to get up. Like it's like his neck is just waiting to be choked. I'm not obviously he didn't get choked out, so he must have enough confidence in his submission defense or whatever. But like he just seems so vulnerable and like nonchalant getting up. Like literally, it wasn't even protecting. I don't know. Maybe it's just something weird that I saw or whatever.
Well,
And
for all his high fight IQ, he's a dumbass in real life, right? So like just you can just tell by the way some of the shit he says, right? Love him or hate him, it is what it is. But
I think for me, it might be a live bet. I think if Dreykus shoots early and gets the takedown early, I'm gonna be like, oh shit. If he shoots early and gets stuffed, I think Sean Strickland it will smoke him on the feet. It all comes down to that takedown or not.
I
And
also think the
again,
takedowns need control, bro. I think if he takes him down and Sean gets right back up, I don't see that as being working in Dreykus's favor too much, quote unquote, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, and also Dreykus should not be a minus 200. I mean, he arguably lost that last fight. He shouldn't be a minus 200.
yeah, the fact that he's minus 200, that fight was razor thin, and Sean, you're getting plus 170 on Sean. I can't see it, right? Like, when's the last few times that Sean's been an underdog in any of his fights, right? Maybe it was the last time against Dreykus in the fight against Izzy, right? Other than that, he was even a favorite against fucking Pereira, wasn't he?
Dude, judges hate him, man. Like honestly, I thought he fucking beat Cannonier. Like judges do not like this guy. Maybe it's his mouth, maybe it's his style because he doesn't hit hard. He's more of a point fighter. I don't know, but judges do not like Sean Strickland.
Hmm. Yeah, but I don't know.
I'm on your side. I agree with everything you said, and I lean Sean Strickland as well, and
It's a numbers
especially at
play,
the odds.
man. Like that last fight was real close. If you look at, I gotta look back at the odds, but the odds weren't this wide. And I don't. All of a sudden, Dreykus gets this fucking loyalty from Vegas. Like I don't know. I just don't know. I can't see it. Like Sean's almost a plus 200.
Oh, I agree, man. I agree. All right, guys, there you have it. That is our breakdown. We got like 9 straight weeks of UFC, so we're gonna have a lot of videos coming up. We'll see if we can get a prop video out in a couple days. But either way, we'll at least have another video up by Sunday to do the next card. All right, guys, we'll talk soon. Have a good one.